Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what I think is good and bad in there. Also going to take a look at this weekly event troop, the Gloom Hob, and give it a rating. Let's see what we think of this thing. Right, Gloom Hob, ghostly thing. Deals magic +3 damage to an enemy, boosted by ghost gems and undead enemies, and gain an extra turn. So, damage with an extra turn? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Ghost gems, they just give you souls when they are destroyed or exploded. You can't match them. So, yeah, the ghost gems. I was hoping it'd be more exciting than that. Ghost gems. I hope the ghost gems are going to be something like you're kind of made invisible, so you couldn't be seen, so you couldn't be hit. A little bit like Submerge, but it's turned out it's a lot less interesting than that, but never mind. Anyway, the traits are gain 50% bonus souls from battle. So this is going to be a really good troop for getting souls in the game. If you're hunting souls, then definitely this is going to be a good one for that. So that is another good side of it. This is a good one so far. I'm liking it. Undying, immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark, and haunted, 15% chance to create a ghost gem when my turn begins. So overall, that is a strong troop if you're still collecting souls, because that 50% bonus souls, the fact you can get those ghost souls from the game as well when you cast it. Obviously you're going to need another troop in your team to explode or destroy gems, because that doesn't do it by itself. But with that extra turn, that is actually not bad. And on the basis of that is a really good troop if you still need souls in the game as well for soul farming. I'm going to give that a very respectable 7 out of 10, because it's not a bad damage troop, but it is also a very good souls troop. So very solid Gloom Hob. Anyway, I'm going to start a new line of jokes today. Everybody knows who Chuck Norris is, so let's start a line of Chuck Norris jokes. And we'll open up with, Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Oh dear. Oh god. I like these sort of jokes. Anyway, Gloom Hob, obviously get it as much as you want, all the way up to a mythic if you can spare the glory. Always a good thing to do, because you can level up to full power later on. Do like to grab spoils of war as well if you have the spare glory. Always good to have some more gold, and event keys are cool too. Right, onto the Soulforge itself. Let's see what's going on in there this week. Come on. Right, let's take a look at the weapons first. Same as always. I'm not going to go over all these weapons that are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And first up, we have Flesh Ripper. Eliminates all armor from an enemy and deals magic-based damage boosted by armor eliminated. So this is one of those really, really good weapons. In those really high-level battles you get in some events where you're going to have to hit the enemy several times before you start getting into their main life, this is like a shortcut to that, because you just eliminate all the armor in one go, no matter how much they had. And effectively doing true damage immediately. So very, very good indeed. I do like that kind of weapon. Norbert's Turnip. Kind of one of the essential ones to pick up if you don't have it already. One of the goblin weapons, and completes a lot of those annoying killer goblin teams you've probably lost to several times in the past. Dealing magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by goblin allies, then create a mix of 6 green and red gems for each goblin ally. On a full goblin team, that's going to create a heck of a lot of green and red. You've seen it happen to you many times where you get looped to death with Norbert's Turnip in the team, because it has quick as well. Quick means an extra turn. So yeah, this is one of the essential ones this week for me, Norbert's Turnip. Really, really good. Doomed Breaker. Does heavy splash damage to an enemy with a +4 per tempering level boost. Stun all green enemies, cleanse all green allies, explode 4 gems. If the enemy has a doom, explode 3 more. So this is obviously best in a green team against all green enemies, which will be viable in PvP at certain points. But yes, it's okay. It can actually deal quite a lot of damage when it gets going. And it has Leaf as well, which is a Leaf Storm. So good. And Dagger of Zygen. Actually not bad either. Normally I say about these kind of weapons, this being the anti-Zygen weapon, because it removes all green gems, then deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed. If the enemy is from Zygen, or if the battle is in Zygen, deal double damage. Normally I say this is like the anti-goblin weapon, but this actually works well in some goblin teams. even though it kind of removes all green gems, you kind of get a nice damage boost from that at the same time. It only uses 9 mana, so it's actually pretty good as well. And that has quick as well, so it does have an extra turn as well. So Dagger with Zygen, again, another really good weapon there. Face Stick. Imagine getting slapped in the face by that. Chuck Norris would not be happy. In fact, he'd just stare it down till it gave up. Anyway, it deals magic-based splash damage to an enemy and it then explodes 8 gems of one of their mana colours. The good thing about that exploding gems is it's not based on magic level, so you can be a brand new player to the game and still explode 8 gems when you cast that. So that's not a bad weapon either. Decent amount of damage with some mana gen at the same time. Wand of Stars is not in my Soulforge extra video because it came out after I made that video. But if you don't have it already and you've just got the resources to do it now, just make it. It's amazing. The best weapon in the game, creating 6 elemental stars and blessing all allies, or creating 7 umbral stars and cursing all enemies. Absolutely wonderful Wand of Stars. It can let you down and backfire and smash you in the face and give the enemy a load of mana when it fails to align, but it goes right a lot more than it goes wrong. And that cleanse can obviously be absolutely vital at some times, and the curse is really useful too. So yeah, fantastic weapon. Hack Job does magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Zygen allies. Then create a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Zygen ally. So similar to our other weapon up here, Norbert's Turnip does a similar kind of thing, but it doesn't have quick. Actually, it does not have a extra turn for this, so not as good as that, even though it creates different colours, which may be viable for different teams. But basically, yeah, Hack Job. Still not bad. Godmother's Wand explodes 3 gems and then create a wish gem. Yeah, I just wish that was the other way around. I wish it was create a wish gem, then explode 3 gems. Because this way around, you're guaranteed to leave that wish gem on the board, and if the enemy has exploded troops, it might actually cast that troop and pick up that wish gem itself, which has a 4 out of 5 chance of working in its favour. So yeah, good, but you know, one of those risky sort of chancey, do you feel lucky weapons. What else we got? We have a Gob Sticker. Explodey summoning weapon here, exploding magic +1 green gems. Grant a random status effect to all goblin allies, then summon a goblin troop. Do like these weapons, like them a lot. A lot of easy mana gen, summon, status effects. What's not to love? Rockstabber. Again, another summony explodey weapon. This time exploding magic +1 green gems. Grant a random status effect to all goblin allies and summon a goblin troop. So yeah, pick your poison on those ones, whichever one you fancy the most. Very, very similar in what they do. And is that it? Yes, it is. Right, onto the troops. Always take a look through these summoning stones ones if you're a new player or you're missing certain troops. See if there's anybody in there which is absolutely worth picking up. Have a little gander through, or just, oh, Fundingus, absolutely worth a roll of the dice on getting these summoning stones. Really good troop. Exploding purple gems, then has a summon and an extra turn. And Hobgoblin is not bad either. Damage to an enemy and a random enemy with an extra turn. Pretty cool. And Dust Devil can be useful if you've got Iron Hawk for those quick teams. Oops. What else we got? Night Hag. Rift Links. Oh, Centurion. Centurion's here. Absolutely craft Centurion, or get the summoning stones at least. See if you can get him. Absolutely superb troop. Does work fantastically well with Zul'Goth, so it's unlikely you're going to be a new player that has Zul'Goth but not Centurion. But if that is the off chance, or you don't have it yet, then get it, because it's absolutely superb. 10% chance to devour a random enemy, +10 for each wild card, then convert all skulls to ×2 wild cards. It's on a skull-based team, that could be absolutely devastating. Really, really good. Really, really good. Like the best glory troop ever, I dare say. Right, so let's start with the mythics first. Let's go to the bottom and work our way up. And first up we have Amarok. Right, deals a decent amount of damage to an enemy with a 10% chance to devour them, boosted by red gems and burning enemies. If the enemy dies, create 9 red gems. If you kill them, you can actually self-charge and do it again, which I've had happen in different teams with Amarok. Actually, a really good troop this. Reduce damage from skulls by 50%. Is immune from burning and fairy fire itself. And burn and stun a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems, which can obviously help its chance to get that devour. So Amarok, do like that troop. Shahbanu Vespera. Another really good troop, but kind of specialist. You have to use her in a certain way to make her most effective. Doesn't sound great at first. Gives half magic roughly to a random skill on an ally. Then create 9 gems of their mana colour. Then repeat 2 more times for random allies. The key to her is to have as many of your troops as possible, ideally all of them, only using a single mana colour. The same one that she uses, so either blue, yellow or purple. Have all your other troops, for example, using just yellow. Then when you cast that on them, you're going to get that boost to them, as well as create loads of mana. And because it does it 2 more times for random allies, the chances are you're going to get absolutely stacks of that colour. Get a 4 match, buffer them up on that skill increase chance, the way it works, and just repeat the process again and again. As long as you're not frozen, that works really, really well. And she can actually be a bit of a saviour as well. I've had her as the last player in my team before. And that 30% chance to summon a Jinn when matching 4 or more gems, because the way she works, you can actually get all your troops back. Even though they are like just Jinns. But hey, she's really good. Fallen Valdis. More like fallen over. Is good versus divine enemies, but not very good versus anybody else. So it's a very specialist troop versus divines. She came along as kind of the counter to divines several years ago, when divines were kind of the powerhouse in the team and were taken over a bit. But that is long since passed, and she deals a lowish amount of damage now to all enemies compared to other troops that have come since. Explodes 3 Doom Skulls boosted by divine enemies, and silence divine enemies. The silence divine enemies is the strong part of her spell, because if you're silenced, there's literally nothing you can do about it. You've got to wait for Orpheus medals or the natural cleanse chance to kick in, because you can't collect mana and you can't collect spells, or you can't cast spells when you're silenced. So there's no real way of recovering until that happens by chance, or like I say, your Orpheus medals. So it is strong for that versus divines, but specifically for that. And summons a dark storm when an enemy dies, which is purple. She's immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark. And disease a random enemy when matching purple gems are a particularly weak set of traits for a mythic. But anyway, against the divine enemies, she's not too bad. Who else do we have? There's one more in there. Plague. Oh dear. Eliminates magic plus 2 points of a random skill from all enemies, poison and disease them. And yeah, that is it. I'm not a fan of that kind of spell myself. Deal double skull damage versus disease enemies, immune to all status effects, devour, lycanthropy and mana burn is pretty cool. And enemies lose 3 skill points on 4 or 5 gem matches is the last one. So yeah, nothing special about Plague either. Alright, let's take a quick look at the legendaries. Do usually say no need to craft legendaries from here, wait for them to appear in chests, because the chance of them appearing is way, way, way higher than it is for mythics. So save your diamonds. Let's do somebody utterly, utterly essential. Let's take a look what we have. We have Kraken. I used to love this troop in the early days. Used to use it a lot. Dealing magic-based damage to the last 2 enemies. Create 8 blue gems with a 35% chance to devour the last enemy. So then that devour comes in. Really, really useful. I also really like that tentacles as well. Deal 3 damage to all enemies on 4 or 5 matches. Like, this was a really satisfying stage in the game for me. Like now, you know, you're powerful and stuff, and you got Stellarix teams, Diamantina teams that get things done in a jiffy and really quick and things like that. But going back to this stage where that tentacles was like a really important thing to get through certain stages, and you had to really think about what you're doing, it was actually really satisfying. So I kind of missed that kind of element of the game in a way. With that stage, if you like, of having to really be careful and be in certain classes where you got +2 life per turn, and that's what made the difference between living and dying sometimes. Really cool. Anyway, Dishy Ishi, Divine Ishbala. transforms red to skulls and green to yellow, and enchants 2 random allies. Still a really good troop. Really, really good. See her in divine teams all the time. I just wish they'd change that radiant aura back to 50%. If I remember, it did start at 50% originally, and this was at the same time as when divines were kind of dominant in the game, and that got reduced to 40%. But divines aren't dominant anymore at all. I think that's time for that radiant aura to go back to 50% now, but it will, maybe. It probably won't, know, because she's kind of been forgotten about a bit by the devs. Unless they do realise, hey, that's been on 40% for ages now, and it should be 50. Anyway, Emperor Liang. Destroy all gems of a chosen colour. Give all allies of the matching colour magic +1 life and 4 magic. It's a better troop than what it first seems, and the reason is because of the traits. Transcend. Exchange 2 life for 2 magic on 4 or 5 gem matches. So basically the amount of life he gives will just go up and up and up. The cost of losing some life every time it does that, but when you cast it on one of his colours, being purple or yellow, he'll get that increased amount of life back. So he kind of punches himself in the face every single time he gets a 4 match, losing a bit of life, but it makes his magic better, and he sort of heals himself. It's kind of a weird one. But anyway, and enchant a random ally on 4 or 5 gem matches is also not too bad. Nimue, very good troop. Transforms yellow to skulls and red to purple, and silence the 2 strongest enemies. So really good troop that. I do like her a lot. And steal life from the first enemy by matching green gems is cool as well, because she uses green to get charged up. Is that the 4th one? Was that it? I think it was. So Nimue, 1, 2, 3, and Kraken, yeah, 4. Right, so who gets my super coveted, not Mythic of the Week? Well, it's not going to be Plague, I can tell you that much. And it's not going to be Fallen Valdis. This is a straight punch up between Shahbanu Vespera and Amarok. I kind of rate them roughly the same, in the same bracket, if you like. Which is very good, by the way. But 2 completely different troops. 2 completely different play styles as well. Do you prefer the chance to kill somebody outright and do it again? Or do you like the safety net of someone like Shahbanu Vespera, making your troops, making your stats crazy powerful sometimes at a slight risk? I think they're both excellent. I think they're both very similar. But I am going to edge this just to Amarok. The way I look at it is if basically I had to lose one of these from the game and keep one or the other, who would it be? Now, I do love Shahbanu. I've done some awesome teams with her in the past, and actually she's had one of my most satisfying Guild Wars matches ever, where I was down to just her, I think it was. I think the enemy had a full team still, with a lot of their stats left. I just had a really unlucky poor start, and she was my only troop left. I think she was near death as well, and because of the way she works and that genie's lamp, I think I ended up with a full roster of troops again. Ended up winning from being near death with just, it was really good. Anyway, I digress. Still going to give it to Amarok, just about, because I do like the aggressive nature of it and the fact that it can get stuff done really, really quickly if you've got a red storm going at the same time, for example. And it gets self-charged a couple of times. So yes, Amarok, my Mythic of the Week. Hot dog indeed. Well, there's a video. I'll be back later on with my world event team and stuff like that. But if you enjoyed this one, feel free to bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. And I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.